Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Our guests waiting to be profiled are author, psychotherapist Linna Durre and tenor sax legend Nino Tempo. Linna Durre was born in New York and raised in New Jersey. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Human Development from Pacific Oaks College in Pasadena and both her master's and PhD in psychology from California School of Professional Psychologists in San Diego.
Yes.
I've had a lot of multi-hyphenates on the show, but listen to Linda's list. She's a national speaker, an author, a magazine and newspaper columnist, TV and radio talk show host, licensed psychotherapist, and an expert witness in the courts. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Joan. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to go through the list, and you're going to explain what it all is. But first of all, tell me why you studied human development when you have all this other list of things.
Well, I always wanted to help people, and since I faint at the sight of blood, I thought it might not be a good idea to go to medical school. So I got my PhD instead.
And was that going to be your chosen profession? You got your PhD. What were you going to do with it?
Definitely wanted to be in private practice, certainly, and help people and families and people going through stress and divorce and things like that.
So is that what you ended up doing?
Yes.
That's what you
Among
have?
all the other creative stuff on the side as well.
We have one book, Great Relationships Manual, which we'll talk about a little
Right.
bit into the show. But I guess you've been working at that all this time since you started going to school.
Yeah.
Tell me what national speaker is. I'm going to go through this list and
Okay.
put you on the spot.
Well, I've given speeches and done trainings for Fortune 500 companies, associations, groups, clubs, et cetera, all over the country, from Disney World to the American Psychological Association to the American Management Association, et cetera.
Do those national speakerships fit into your workshops? Because you do teach workshops as well.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
what are the workshops about?
Well, I do a lot of corporate training, customer service, how to deal with difficult people, turf wars, personality conflicts, things like that.
Do they call you in all the time, or is it just periodic?
It depends on the corporations. I've certainly been working a lot over the years, 28 years.
So TV talk show host,
Yes.
radio talk show host,
Yes.
did they relate to your psychotherapy?
Absolutely. And I just love doing radio and television work. 2 years after one of the radio shows or the television shows was off the air, someone on a train in New York recognized me.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, I do.
That's what happens. I know. As soon as your face is on that screen.
You're imprinted there forever.
I know, but which do you like better, radio or TV?
It's like asking you to pick your favorite child. I love both of them, and they're both different to do, but I just love both of them.
Did you do call-ins? Were
Yes,
they call-ins?
Absolutely, yeah.
And in what part of the country?
I was at Universal Studios in Orlando doing Ask the Family Therapist, which was part of America's Health Network.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I think the thing about radio, which I haven't done, is that you don't have to get dressed and have
That's
makeup.
true.
That's the thing.
That's exactly right.
So next thing we talked about was a licensed psychotherapist
Yes.
and your practice.
Yes.
What do you do in that?
I've been licensed since 1978, and I see families, children, teenagers, couples trying to work out if they want to get a divorce or if they can, really communicate with each other and walk hand in hand into the sunset.
Do you do a lot of pro bono work and charity work in your field?
I am vice president of the Bridge Foundation, which gives
What is that?
It gives temporary housing to people who are in need, and I'm also on the Community Advisory Council for the Golden Rule Foundation, and I'm also the chairperson for the Winter Park advisory council for the medical assistance program.
So a golden rule, do unto others?
That's
is that
exactly
what it is?
right.
And what is it? In housing and every aspect?
We work with the school systems, public schools and private schools, and we have programs for community service and instilling character development and character education for children, working with their teachers.
That's very
important. We work
important.
with seniors and park beautification and do all sorts of work.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
You testify in courts
I
as
do.
an expert.
Yes,
what
I
does
do.
that have to, how do you do that? And who calls you in?
Basically attorneys and sometimes judges to do custody evaluations and sometimes I've worked with sex abuse cases, and my dissertation was on shrinks who have sex with their patients.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That
Yes.
happens a lot.
It did, and it still does, I know. And my dissertation was 400 pages, and I crossed the country interviewing people that this had happened to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How'd you find the patients?
Well, I advertised. I advertised in several national magazines, and also it was word of mouth. This was, of course, way before the internet. And my dissertation research was used to pass legislation to make it either a felony or a misdemeanor in several states.
So
So
you
I
got
was very proud
to
of that.
stay on that and
Yes.
take it all across the 48.
Yes, exactly right.
You've written children's books.
I have, and I'm looking for a publisher, as a matter of fact.
What are they? Do you illustrate them, or do you just write the words?
I just write the words because I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. And I work with about 7 or 8 different illustrators for each of the books.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
have. And last but not least, before we get into your authorship of your book, screenplays.
Yes,
You
yes.
started out early.
I did. I started out at 22. I sold a television series to Aaron Spelling, God rest his soul. And I've written and hosted for Disney, and I've written 7 screenplays.
What
And-
stars have been in your...
Well, Ed Asner and Marion Ross have signed on for my screenplay Meant to Be, and Oscar nominee Bruce Davison has signed on for the lead in Meant to Be. So I'm thrilled about that.
All of our good friends. We know Marion very well and Bruce, but I don't know Ed. But you're meeting with him.
Yeah, I'm meeting with him
You're
again
meeting
next
with
week. Yeah, he's such a wonderful man.
And you said before we went on, you're a member of ASCAP, which
Yes.
means you write music.
Yes, I do. I'm a lyricist. I've worked with about 5 or 6 different songwriters.
Oh, you write the lyrics. So
I write the lyrics.
You're the writer.
I'm the writer.
You're the writer.
I'm the wordsmith.
You're the person. Okay, so this
Yes.
Great Relationships manual.
Yes.
What is it about, and how? I thought it was very interesting because there's a lot of like empty pages to me.
It's a workbook. It's a workbook, and both parties in the couple fill it out, and then they swap and read about it. And sometimes it's much easier, especially for men, to write about their feelings than to talk about it.
Well, it seems so simple to write it down, but I went through it last night and I kept just switching the page, and I went, who cares about this? Who cares about this? And yet, who evaluates it at the end?
Well, it's up to the couple.
Oh, it is.
Yes,
This is like
because
self-help.
It is. It's a very much a self-help book, because what people do when they head for the divorce court is they realize they've never really communicated with their partner. And so this book says, this is what I like in the morning, this is what I like sexually, this is what I like about our children, this is what I like in terms of our values, spirituality, emotional issues. And then when you tell each other that leads to much better understanding and compatibility.
It says home decor. The types of decor I like are.
Right.
And the types I don't like. So
Right.
there's a page for both. And then
Exactly.
the wife writes on one side, the husband writes on the
No,
other?
each book is for one person. So this is totally what the wife wants, let's say, and
Oh, I
then
see.
the husband has his own book, and then they swap books.
For the master bathroom, I prefer.
Right.
I don't
Well,
prefer.
I've had people have huge fights over decor and messiness in the house, or somebody likes jungle themes and somebody likes, Martha Stewart cozy cottages, and it's just a clash. So I try to work with people to get a compromise.
You need to know the following things about my cousin Vinny. No, not Vinny.
And Guido, don't forget Guido, right.
But that's in here too?
Well, because people have issues about families, or they can't stand a relative, or their father-in-law is just always on their case. So it's important to communicate with each other so they get exactly what the issues are with their families. Because I've seen so many people have absolute hate fests, especially over the holidays, about their relationships with family members.
let's see, what else do I? Insecurity. When I'm feeling insecure, I
Right.
need to, or
Right.
you need to.
Right, exactly. And this is when I'm angry, when I'm sad, when I'm feeling blue, whatever. So people really can assist each other emotionally through difficult times.
This is good. My practices and beliefs about praying.
Yes.
Because shouldn't we have the same? I mean, we know about religion or each other's when we get
Right.
married usually.
Right.
But
Spirituality is also very different, as you know, from religion. And so a lot of people have very strong religious beliefs, and a lot of people have differing religious beliefs. And my feeling is, if you can respect each other's differences, that's fine. And if not, then you have to work it out some other way.
so when we get down to this, relationships, why should somebody get married? What are the reasons?
Well, I think marriage is a wonderful institution in many ways, because it's a social, a social statement that you're committed to this person and you love them. And of course, there are marriages that are terrible, and I'm not saying that, but I'm very much an idealist and an optimist, and I believe in good relationships. My grandparents were married for 52 years. My parents were married for 49 years.
You talk about the crash and burn syndrome.
Yes,
What does
I
that
do.
mean?
Well, the crash and burn syndrome is when people get into it too fast. There's a lot of sexual attraction perhaps, and they end up in bed immediately, and they don't work out the friendship. And friendship is really at the core of any good relationship.
So
and
those
communication.
are the things we should avoid?
Well, I think
I
getting...
mean, one of the things you just said, and what
Yeah.
else? So we don't get into the crash and burn.
Right, exactly. I think it takes time to know someone, and I think communication is very important, and chemistry also is important. I think chemistry and attraction and passion is absolutely crucial to having a wonderful, hot, exciting relationship. I just think people sometimes get involved too quickly sexually, and that's what the crash and burn syndrome is.
Well, I don't know if my husband and I should read this. Should do this workbook. We've been married for so long that maybe we don't need to do this. But I thank you. Is there a follow-up to this?
Yes, there are two follow-ups. One is called Great Relationships for Singles.
Oh, so they do the
Yes.
same thing?
Well, that's more of the book. That's the book
Oh, to
about
read
how to
about
find people and how to weed out the winners from the losers. And the other one is called Great Relationships for Couples, and that's more on communication techniques and compatibility issues. So
And then when you do your workshops, you teach these skills as well?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Linda, thank you.
Thank you, Joan. I
Thanks
so
for
appreciate
being
it.
with me
Thank you.
today. And thank you for watching. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our tenor sax legend and singer and songwriter, Nino Tempo. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm here with musical talent and tenor saxophone legend,
Living legend.
Nino Tempo, who was born in New York and raised in LA. He graduated from Hollywood High after a short stint at Los Angeles City College. He went right to work. Nino, why you had to leave college and go to work? What was calling you?
Well, I knew everything there was to know about music. So why go to college?
Well, I don't know. Did you start working right away?
Right away.
And was music in your family?
Actually, no. My dad was a grocer. My mom was a housewife who might have been in the Miss America contest when she was young. But because the judges had it fixed, she was jerked out by her Sicilian father, my grandfather.
Gosh, I guess.
And so she always wanted to be in show business, so vis-a-vis my sister and myself, she kind of enjoyed success through us.
She liked that, but do you think that being a beauty queen was putting you and your sister in the show business thing?
Would you rephrase that?
Yeah, exactly. You came to LA and you started being a child actor.
Yeah, I did. I
mean, so was it because of her?
Oh,
Was
absolutely.
she doing? Oh, it was.
She
yeah.
was a showbiz mother.
Oh, I see.
As a matter of fact, going way back to Niagara Falls, Mom and Dad brought me to the Benny Goodman review at the Shays Buffalo Theater in Buffalo when I was 7. And she had me all set up. She said, now go up on stage and tell Benny Goodman this when I give you the signal. So she gave me the signal. I went up and I was too young to be frightened. So I tugged on his coat and I said, my grandfather bet me $10 if I was any good, I could sing with your band. And so he had me say to the audience, he says, repeat that. So I did, and the audience went, go on, get out of here. So he said, I don't know this kid. He says, what do you want to sing? So I said, Rosetta in the key of C with a tag at the end.
How did you know? 7 years old?
I had been singing since I was 3 and 4 on recitals.
And I asked you, can you sing? I thought all you did was play the sax.
No, I sing.
So what happened?
Well, he liked me so much that he had me come back every night for the rest of his engagement to do the same shtick, which was set up now.
Oh, yeah, now.
And he liked it so much, so I did it for about a week. And after it was all over, he approached me. He said, Nino, thank you very much. This is for you. And he gave me an autographed 8x10 of himself.
He didn't give you any money?
No! That was my first experience.
But that's what they say. You shouldn't work with animals or kids. You probably
Or
stole
Benny Goodman.
Benny Goodman.
Or Benny Goodman.
So they say you stole the limelight from him. Well, you were acting in Hollywood. Your sister was singing.
Yeah, that's
April
right.
Stevens. So what? She's older, or she just started singing before you?
Well, she was older, but I became her older brother, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah. She actually was, it's the old story, the Alana Turner story. She was walking in front of Music City once, and she was a very attractive young girl. And a fella came up and said, hey, can you sing? She said, yes, I do sing. He says, I want you to sing on a record. So he brought her out to a studio, and she sang, and she changed her name because it was slightly risque at the time.
Carol?
Carol Lotempio. She wouldn't put Carol Lotempio, so she made up April Stevens just to not be connected with this slightly, when I say risque, it was so mild by today's standards, it was nothing. And it did enough where she had to keep April Stevens as her name.
So she kept that name. You were still in Hollywood High. Then you went to Hollywood High. You played in dance bands there.
Maynard Ferguson's band was one of my...
and you made the top 10 right away. And when you were...
when we got together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we started... I was recording with Bobby Darin's band in studios, and Ahmet Erdogan heard me sing something, and he said, what do you do? What else do you do?
Oh, you were singing. But I thought when you were with Bobby Darin, were you singing?
Well, I said to Bobby, can I demonstrate a song that I wrote? He said, sure. So I'm at the piano, I'm showing him, Bobby's sitting next to me and singing along with me, and Ahmet heard me.
Oh, I see.
And said, hey man, you know, I think you've got some other things other than saxophone playing, you know. That's the way he talks. So I said, yeah, I'm singing with my sister now. He said, I want to hear you. So he came over to the house, had a great spaghetti dinner at my parents' place, and he signed us. It was that simple.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you were with Erdogan for years and years,
Still
right?
to this day, we're in contact, and I'm writing a song with Jerry Lieber now that I'm going to try and get it to Ahmet for one of his artists.
When you were actually in Hollywood High, were there other people who turned out to be celebrities at
Carol
the time?
Burnett.
Was she with you in school?
Yeah, there were several actors whose names I may not be able to come up with. Kay Brown, who had some hit songs in those days, Carol being the biggest star. And of course, the living legend.
The living legend, right.
Yeah.
When you were talking about being in the studio, they called you a session
player.
What does that mean?
Well, you're available to play in the orchestra for recording artists. You're available to back them up.
You mean like a big artist?
Yeah, big, small, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. You were, and you were arranging and composing too?
Yeah, and I worked with Phil Spector a great deal too.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Did you always play the sax, or do you play other instruments?
Started clarinet, switched to saxophone, and it's been saxophone ever since.
And that's made you the legend. The legend. So when you were playing, in session playing, you always played the sax?
Saxophone, yeah.
And there's a tenor and an alto?
Yeah.
And a regular? What is it?
There is no regular.
There's no regular.
I play the regular saxophone. Get him out of here.
What do you play?
I play tenor saxophone.
And what are the differences between alto and tenor?
Alto is higher, tenor is in the middle, and baritone is at the bottom. Of course, there's a soprano and an extra bass baritone, but the tenor is the one that is the closest to the human voice, which is why most people tend to go for that.
And they also remember it. It's the sound with the words, I guess. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when you and your sister were singing, or when your sister was singing, she would sing songs like from 1939 or old songs, right?
We both did that together.
Why did you pick old songs?
Very good. Couldn't find a good song. That's why.
I mean, what were those? Deep Purple was an
Deep Purple
old song.
was an old song. When I worked with Bobby Darin, he was doing "You Must Have Been a Beautiful Baby," things like that, and I thought that's a good idea to do an old song and to rip it up forward to make it contemporary. So when Amit expected me to come up with material, it's pretty tough.
Oh, is
so
that
I came up with
right?
"Sweet and Lovely." Then we
Right.
did "Paradise." Deep Purple was #1, won us a Grammy.
Won you a
Whispering,
Grammy, right?
Yeah.
And that was in what, 63?
63, exactly.
And people are still talking about that.
They are?
Yeah, didn't you hear them when you came?
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, but it was from 63, and it's like a legend.
It's like one of those magical records. We cut it in 14 minutes. They thought it was the worst side we had ever cut. It was unreleasable
Is that right?
for 10 months. So I said, come on, let us out of our contract. So Ahmed said, well, we'll try one more. If it's a flop, you're free. If it's a hit, we're going to keep it.
What do they do with it? Do they change it? Do they
No.
change the arranging?
No, they just released it, and it rose to the top.
Well, what do you account for? Timing or people?
Part of it was that I don't know what we captured in that record, but there was something magical. It truly was. When I listened to it for the first time, and I'm not pumping myself up, but it kind of caught me in my heart. I thought, ooh, that touches me.
Because of the tenor sax too, no?
No,
It's
there was no sax in that.
There wasn't?
No, that was just singing, April and I singing.
Because you hear that I don't know, that inner sound. Maybe I thought it was a sax because I always hear that inner sound. I always think you're playing the sax
Well,
on it.
part of what I sing comes out of what I think as a saxophone player.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Are you still singing with April?
No, we're not. We're not. I wish we were.
You're still singing that, right?
I'm still singing. I gave you a little demonstration for your own collection that you can keep.
What'd you say? I said, "Are you still singing?" And you went, "Yes, listen to me" on the phone.
Yeah, when I sang a little Deep Purple. When the deep purple falls over sleepy garden walls, and the stars begin to twinkle in the night. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ooh, see,
Still got it.
I heard a sax there.
You do?
When you talked about Deep Purple, you said, we found a formula.
Yeah.
What kind of formula was that? Because you went on for years after that, then making hit records and CDs.
I used to hear my dad sing around the house a little bit. So I took the style of the 20s that he had. I started making the arrangements along that line, and April was automatically tuned into me, being my sister. We had similar voices. So she would find a harmony part, and then I would pop up on top with the falsettos, and it just kind of evolved.
So that was the formula, and that's what made your style.
Yeah, that's what made our
I
style.
see. The recent CDs, one of them was tenor sax. Did you bring that?
Yeah, it's right there.
Which one? This one?
No, that one.
This one.
That's tenor
So
sax.
this is Nino Tempo tenor sax, a
Yeah.
recent CD.
That's right.
And Live at Cicada. This one?
That was a little more recent.
I'm going to hold that one up. And was this at the restaurant Cicada?
Yeah, it was.
And was it when it was downtown?
Well, it was right at Melrose in La Cienega. That's where it was.
Oh, yeah.
Not the downtown Cicada.
Not the downtown
It was the
one.
uptown
I see,
Cicada.
I see. And then one other one that you brought,
Is Nino.
Nino. And are these all old songs that you've
Oh,
done?
no.
they're
Oh, no.
all
A lot of
new.
these are Brazilian jazz,
This one, what's on here?
Brazilian jazz type songs. A few standards. But I play totally different than I sang with April. It's like two different hats that I wear.
So that this is all you just alone.
And there's the one with April and I that has the best of everything we
This
recorded.
is a compilation, Sweet
Yeah.
and Lovely. So
Yeah.
what's on here?
Guess which one is lovely?
Lovely. You're lovely.
No, she's lovely.
Tell me some of the names on
Well, we
here.
have Deep Purple. Let's see. Let me look at it for a second.
You can read them. I can't read
Deep
it.
Purple, Teach Me Tiger, which is, we've had so many commercials with Teach Me Tiger. We've done quite well with it. Paradise, We'll Always Be Together. Whispering, All Strung Out.
Whispering, right.
All Strung Out, which was a hit that I wrote for us. Why Don't You Do Right, the old Peggy Lee song. T for Two was on here. Well, it's just a
T
compilation.
for Two.
Yeah.
I mean, who would ever think that some two contemporary people would sing T for Two and make it a big thing?
You got me.
I'll tell you. You talked about commercials. What was that?
Teach Me Tiger was used on a Whiskas cat commercial, on a Chevy commercial throughout Europe, on a GNC vitamin commercial, on a Dos Equis commercial.
All those with
Yeah,
the
it
same
did quite
tune?
well. Yeah, it's still paying my rent.
Well, that's good. We like that.
Yeah.
Can you write just commercial music?
Well, we had no idea that was going to be like that.
I mean, would you do something like that?
Yeah. Why not?
Because it doesn't seem like someone would take your song and use it in so many different ways.
I know, it is odd. But when we wrote it, it went, April would sing, "Teach me, tiger, how to kiss me." And she said, well, put something in here like, wah, 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 wah. And I said, no, do that. So she started going, wah, 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 wah. And that was the trick, the key for the song, and it became a hit.
How'd you get along all these years?
Horrible.
So did you fight a lot?
Oh, sure. Just like
Just
every
like
brother and
sister,
sister.
or sister and sister, or whatever.
Listen, we've left for Europe, and she forgot her passport. Now, how do you think that set with me?
But all your life, huh?
All my life, yeah. We grew up,
And was your mom
singing.
always in between the two
Oh,
of you?
absolutely.
No.
Oh, yeah. My mother was the motivating force. God bless her. I miss her. I love her.
Did you learn any of her Sicilian recipes?
You mean to cook?
Yes.
No, April did.
Did she?
No, my mother would teach me smart things.
Like
She'd
how to
say-
take care of the money?
Yeah. I say, hey, Mom, this attorney wants to handle all my money so I can pay attention to music. She said, remember one thing. She said, in Italian, there's an old saying, you can't even trust your own stomach, because just when you do, it backs up on you.
Your own stomach?
Yeah.
So she did.
It's the old Italian school,
Old sayings, yeah. So you guys fought but got along.
Of course.
You still have your mom's recipes.
Oh, yeah.
And you're still working. You're busy as ever, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Writing songs. I'm playing a little bit.
Well, I thank you for coming today.
It's my pleasure,
I
Joan.
loved having you.
God,
we
yeah.
love having living legends on this show. So
Could you say that once again?
Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017, and we'll see you next time.
And to everybody out there, she's a delight. I must tell you. She's